What is this oil? It's going on for a long time, almost 3 hours.
They put strong tadka, I think.
But still it's going on? Since morning?
I tell them exhaust or something.
Let's find out what is that. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamuditayet Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavatyuttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nandagopa Kumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha. Welcome all of you for the Bhagavatam class. We are reciting the verse, 10th canto, 14th chapter, 58th verse. Samashitaye padapallavaplavam Mahatpadam punyayasho murare Bhavam budhir vatsapadam param padam 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 yat vipadam natesham. It's a chant. Samashritaye padapallavaplavam Mahatpadam punyayasho murare Bhavam budhir vatsapadam param padam 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 yat vipadam natesham. Give the thing, Prabhuji. Show the shloka. Samashchitaye padapallavaplavam Mahatpadam punyayasho murare Bhavam budhir vatsapadam param padam 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 yat vipadam natesham. Samashitaye padapallavaplavam Mahatpadam punyayasho murare Bhavam budhir vatsapadam param padam 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 yat vipadam natesham.
Samashitaye padapallavaplavam Mahatpadam punyayasho murare
Mahatpadam punyayasho murare
Bhavam budhir vatsapadam param padam
Bhavam budhir vatsapadam param padam
Padam yat vipadam natesham
Padam yat vipadam natesham. Samashitaha, having taken shelter. Ye, those who, pada, the feet, pallava, like flower buds, plavam, which are a boat, mahat, of the total material creation, or of the great souls. Padam, the shelter. Punya, supremely pious. Yashaha, whose fame. Murarehe, of the enemy of the demon Mura. Bhava, of the material existence. Ambudihi, the ocean. Vatsapadam, the hoof print of a calf. Parampadam, the supreme abode Vaikuntha. Padam padam, at every step. Yat, where? Vipadam, or material miseries. None. Tesham, for them. Translation purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. This is actually the 10th canto, 14th chapter. This is the last chapter Prabhupada commented. For those who have accepted the vote of the lotus feet of the Lord, who is the shelter of the cosmic manifestation and is famous as Murari, the enemy of Murari demon, the ocean of the material world is like the water contained in a calf's hoof print. Their goal is Parampadam, Vaikuntha, the place where there are no material miseries, not the place where there is danger at every step. This translation is taken from Srila Prabhupada's commentary in the Bhagavad Gita, as it is chapter 2, text 51. According to Sridhar Swami, this verse summarizes the knowledge presented in this section of the Srimad Bhagavatam. Lord Krishna's lotus feet are described as pallava, flower buds, because they are the most tender and of a pinkish hue. According to Srila Sanatana Goswami, the word pallava also indicates that Lord Krishna's lotus feet are just like desire trees, which can fulfill all the desires of the Lord's pure devotees. Even exalted devotees like Sri Narada, who are themselves the great shelter for the conditioned souls in this universe, personally take shelter of the lotus feet of Sri Krishna. Thus it is natural that when Lord Krishna manifested himself as all the young boys and calves of Vrindavan, their parents were most attracted to them than previously. Lord Krishna is the reservoir of all pleasure, and being all attractive, the ultimate object of everyone's love. So this verse is talking about shelter of Krishna's lotus feet. So, which are like the pallava, like flower buds, most tender, and they are also compared to desert trees. So, why desert tree? Because Krishna can avoid anything to his devotees. Anyone who comes to him, not only devotees, anyone who goes to Krishna's temple, prays to him, Artho, Jignasu, Artharthi, Jnani, they all can get their things from the Lord. Lord can give heaven, He can give liberation, He can avoid the spiritual world. If somebody approaches Him in love, He can avoid himself and to the devotee. And there is nothing that is impossible for Him. He is the supreme shelter. So, anyone who attains such a shelter of Krishna will become the most satisfied. So, I was thinking of highlighting the highlighted points I made on this topic of Anukulyasa Sankalpa. I want to show only those items. Anukulyasa Sankalpa. So, the first principle of Anukulyasa Sankalpa. Second principle is Pratikulyasya Varjana. So, this is explained in one of the Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Lila. It's a very elaborate thing, but I will only highlight one point here. Please read that point.
The first principle of Sharanagati inspires sadhakas to enthusiastically come forward and accept all limbs of devotional service taught by Srila Prabhupada in Parampara, and not be carried away by lethargy or other whimsical activities, because only by faithful acceptance of such spiritual rules and regulations one can awaken the dormant Krishna flame.
So, when one approaches a spiritual master, one gets a seed of devotion service. And then one has to water it, one has to fence it, and one has to perform the Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakti regularly. And then the plant creeper grows. And while growing, Anukulyasa Sankalpa means 64 principles that Rupa Goswami Pad has given, which are all favorable for advancing in Bhakti. So they should be accepted by the practitioner. On one hand, just like when you go to a war, you have a sword in one hand and shield in another hand. So this is like 4 regulative principles. Don't be tempted by 4 sinful activities. Shield yourself. The sword is the holy name and the holy fame with which you can progress preaching and expanding the movement. So both we should do, and in doing so, one should accept all that is favorable, no matter how difficult the favorable items may be. For example, rising early in the morning is a difficult item, but it's favorable, so we accept. In the same manner, Prabhupada says about the deity worship, it may be very laborious, stitching the dress and making the jewelry and cooking for the deities and doing puja, fetching things from the market and everything. It may be a little tedious and laborious, but when anyone does it lovingly, these devotional austerities, the result of that is that will lead to the awakening of love for God. Correct? No? So, no matter how difficult the favorable items may be, one should embrace them with open arms and welcome those items. That's the whole point of Anukulisa Sankalpa. Then, eventually, one will go from Vaidhi to Raga Bhakti. Because you will find the Raga Bhakti, it has a seed even in Vaidhi Bhakti. For example, he says, Atachittam samadhatum nashaknoshi maistiram abhyasa yogena tatho mamichhaptum dhananjaya, he says. He says, if you cannot be a pure devotee, Mayyavanada, so you can't remember me 24 hours. He says that Abhyasa yoga you can do, which we are trying to do. 16 rounds chanting, 4 legs and all that. But one very important word is using here, Mamichhaptam, he says. Mamichhaptam means while doing Vaidhi sadhana bhakti, one should not do it like a routine, one should not do it in a mechanical way like a robo. One should, while doing it, one should have that ichha to attain me. If somebody asks you, why are you doing Krishna consciousness? Oh, I want to attain Krishna lotus feet someday. I want to become a pure devotee one day. I hope that even if it takes a million lifetimes, I don't mind. Someday, by grace of Guru and Krishna and Vaishnavas, I will become a pure devotee. That longing, that ambition, spiritual aspiration, Abhilasha should be there in the heart of a devotee. And that becomes the seed for Raga Bhakti. So later on, this spark of Mamichhaptam only grows bigger. Like Krishna says, he has 2 qualities. Rasika Shekara Krishna Parama Karuna Yayedo Yehetu Haite Premara Udgama. For my devotees to have love for me, there are 2 hetus, he says. 2 reasons. One is Rasika Shekara, my sportive and playful, naughty and mischievous pastimes as coward boy, stealing butter and everything. So those pastimes are charming to the heart of some devotees. And that produces greed in the heart of my devotees to attain me, he says. Then another one, he says, Parama Karuna. When devotees see that I am extremely compassionate even to Putana, extremely compassionate to many, many people in this world. Putana is the climax, compassion. Lord showed compassion. He showed compassion to our Kubja. He showed so many people were delivered. Vidyadhara, there was one fellow in snake's body in the Ambikavan. When Nanda Baba and others had gone there for Shivratri, and that fellow swallowed, that snake swallowed Nanda Baba, and then Krishna, by touching that snake with the lotus feet, then next moment he delivered him to become Vidyadhara again. So he showed mercy to many. Similarly, Durga was delivered by, Durga was also a lizard in a well. Yadukumaras, when they were playing, they went and told Krishna. Krishna came and put his lotus feet on Durga, immediately was delivered. So, in this way, one should study about how Krishna has delivered mercifully so many jivas. And by that, some people develop attraction to Krishna. Oh, he is so merciful, even the worst and sinful living entities have been delivered by him. So I will also be delivered one day. So these are the 2 attractions for a devotee. Krishna is Rasika Shekhar, Krishna is the Parama Karuna. Because he is Rasika Shekhar, we should develop mad attraction for him. Because he is Parama Karuna, we should be willing to accept the mercy rope which he is sending us. Somebody has fallen into the well, Krishna is throwing a rope, and we have to just pick up that. So our endeavor and Krishna's grace, the combination can deliver us. And for accepting the rope means Anukulesa Sankalpa. All that is favorable, one should accept all the items that are favorable, one should accept those items. That is the first point. The second point is Patikulesa Varjana. Things which are not favorable. You see here, Parikshit asked 4 questions, isn't it? Ata prichami samsiddham yoginam paramam gurum purushasya gayat karyam riyamanasya sarvata. He asked, what is the duty of a dying man? What is the duty of a common man? What are things that we should not hear, we should hear about, we should remember and glorify, and worship. And what are things we should not hear about, not glorify, not remember, and not worship? 4 questions he asked. And then Shukadeva Goswami answered the 4th question first. What is the 4th question? What we should not hear about, what we should not glorify, what we should not remember, what we should not worship. Because that is, avoiding bad association is given more importance than taking good association. Not in one place, everywhere. Like for example, Sarvato Manaso Asangam, first he says. Firstly, one should avoid bad association, and then he says, Ado Sangam Cha Sadhushu. Then it says one should associate with the saintly person. Similarly, Mahaprabhu told Sanatana Goswami, Asatanga Tyagi Vaishnava Achar. He is calling giving up bad association itself as Vaishnava Achar. And associating with devotees comes later. One should abandon bad association. So that is a practical lesson. Vivarjana. One should avoid. So therefore he said, Shotavyadeni Rajendranam Santi Sahasrashaha Apashchatam Atmadattvam Griheshu Grihamedinam. Starting with that, 2 more verses. Dehavatya Kalatradishu, that's another verse. Tesham Pramatto Nidanam Pashyana Piram Pashyana. So those verses are all about what association one should avoid. So that is Pratikul Savarjanam. So similarly, Lord Kapila also talks about avoiding, Prasangam Majaram Pashamatmana Kaviyo Viduhu. Then he is also saying, Teshu Ashanteshu Mudeshu Kandita Atmas. Very famous verse it is. Sangam Nakurya Chocheshu Yoshit Kridamargeshu. In that verse he says, Ashanteshu means we should not associate with those men who are, Ashanta means who are always hankering for material enjoyment. Mudeshu means grossly foolish. Pandita means he is a conditioned soul. Asadhushu means he has no good qualities of a saintly person. Sangam Nakurya, one should not associate. Shocheshu, pathetic. Yoshit Krida means he is a play toy in the hands of a woman. Yoshit Krida Mrigeshu. So these are the people whom one should avoid this bad association. So in this way, Anukulasya Sankalpa, Patikulasya Varjana. So avoiding Sri Sangi, Asadu, Krishna Bhakta, all these things. And Bhaktivinoda Thakur talks about 6 steps of materialists. That's a very elaborate topic. He says, those who have neither faith in God nor in morality. Then he says, those who have faith in morality but no faith in God. Thirdly, he says, those who have faith in morality and faith in God, but they make God subservient to morality. And then he talks about impersonalists. Then he talks about demigod worshippers. Then he talks about dharmadvajis who are pretending religionists. So the 6 type of materialists Bhaktivinoda Thakur says are all vivarjanam, particularly let's say one should avoid this type of bad. Even the bad association, what it is very clearly it's defined. So I have given many examples here. See Bhagavan Acharya's brother Gopal Bhattacharya. And this fellow, Gopal Bhattacharya, he had done study in Varanasi for many years, and he came to Puri. And Bhagavan Acharya brought him and told him to give a talk, and all Vaishnavas heard him. He was speaking pure Mayavad. And Vaishnavas were innocent, not understanding it. When the matter was taken to Swarup Damodar, he chastised Bhagavan Acharya and said, your brother is speaking all Mayavad, send him away, back to Varanasi. Similarly, another time Bhagavan Acharya brought one Bengali poet, Brahmana. He said, he has written a beautiful poem. What is the poem? So Swarup Damodar was a screening committee for Lord Chaitanya, correct? No? So this fellow was brought, Bhagavan Acharya brought that Bengali poet. What is your poem? Tell me. He said, my poem is, Lord Jagannath is sitting in the Jagannath Puri temple, and his soul is Chaitanya, who is moving Brahman. And whereas Jagannath is sitting. When he heard this, Swarup Damodar became furious. He said, you are speaking Mayavad. You are considering the Jagannath to be ordinary wood. And you are considering it to be stationary. Jagannath is actually Lord Krishna who is performing various pastimes. And you are considering his soul is Chaitanya. This is a big blunder you have done. And that fellow became frightened. And he also felt like a duck among swans. But one good thing with that fellow was, he was very humble. He admitted to Swarup Damodar that, I just wrote like this, I'm sorry, you rectify my fault. and do not reject me, accept me in among the Vaishnavas, and whatever you say I will do. Then Swarup Damodar became sympathetic to him. And then he told him what changes to make. And then he said, Krishna is non-different, Jagannath is non-different from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Then he made him properly write it. And that fellow never left Puri. He stayed in Puri and became a Vaishnava after that. So, and at that time, when this fellow was brought to Swarup Damodar was angry, but many other Vaishnavas could not detect the Mayavad. They thought he's writing a nice poem on Mahaprabhu and Jagannath, correct, no? So we should know, many times people come and say, we are going to Vrindavan, so and so, Baba is speaking, we are speaking. Many people are hearing so many different people. Many of them are innocent, they do not know. So one thing we should always ask is, what is his conclusion? And what is his connection? These two things we should ask. His connection, somebody may say, I belong to one of the four sampradayas. There are people who claim. But what is his conclusion? Like for example, some people belong to Ramananda Sampradaya, like our Swaminarayan, they belong to. But then Ramananda Sampradaya connection is there, but the conclusion is becoming more close to Mayavad. Like, making one Nilakant into, ultimate God, and not Krishna. In their temple, so Radha Krishna is one side, Shiva Parvati is another side, and then here in the front they have put the gurus as the God. So therefore the connection and conclusion both are very important, and therefore accordingly we should associate with them or not. So like Ramdas Vishwas came with Raghunath Bhatta Goswami, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu immediately, he has the X-ray vision. He saw that he is a Mayavadi. Although he was chanting Ram's names, Mahaprabhu didn't even look at him. On the other hand, he embraced Raghunath Bhatta Goswami. And Raghunath Bhatta Goswami was eager to introduce Ramdas Vishwas to Mahaprabhu, because he thought he is very humble man, and all the while in his journey he was walking with him, chanting Ram Nam. Later on Mahaprabhu said, this fellow is chanting Ram Nam to merge into Ram. So Mahaprabhu rejected him. So we should be careful to avoid impersonalists, demigod worshippers and all these people. Now some of you may have a question. If we have to avoid bad association, we are living in the middle of the city, and the people whom we are preaching to, they are all coming in this materialist category. How will we preach? So the answer to this is simple. You should give association and not take association. Like Prabhupada, if you see, the staff reporter will say one line, he will ask question, Prabhupada will speak big paragraph. You all notice that? Again he will say one or two lines, Prabhupada will say another big paragraph. Somebody asked Prabhupada, you speak more than the reporter. Prabhupada said, yes, because he is ignorant, what can he speak? So I am speaking on behalf of Guru Parampara, so better that he takes and goes, something valuable. That was the point. So one should, like Kala Krishna Das, when he went to South India, he got carried away by the Pataharis, who took him into the group, and then Mahaprabhu caught his shika and brought him out. So he was about to be carried away by bad association, you see. So one should be very careful. Like Chota Haridas pastime is a very frightening pastime for many people, because Mahaprabhu, who is the personification of mercy, when he saw the Chota Haridas, when he had gone to, actually Mahaprabhu, how he knew this? When Mahaprabhu came, he saw the rice, and he was eating the rice. As soon as he put in the mouth, he said, who brought this rice? He asked. They said, Chota Haridas brought this rice. So, and then Mahaprabhu immediately could say, what a kind of sensitivity. When we eat food, many times we don't know whether it's prasad or not also. But Mahaprabhu's sensitivity is so much that immediately he detected when he ate the rice that this person, when where did he bring the rice from? He had brought the rice from, our Madhavi, Madhavi Devi. So there was a small interaction between him and that Madhavi while receiving the rice. So there is little mention in one place, but Prabhupada in one of the lectures says that, he stared at her with a bad eye. One place, and Prabhupada says in the lecture, in Chaitanyasadam we get very little information about the interaction. But Mahaprabhu could detect it, and he banished him from the association of devotees. Although he cried and all that, finally he committed suicide, entering into the Prayag. The whole idea is we should not infect ourselves with bad association. That's the main point. We should be, we should get purified by pure association and not get putrefied by bad association. And therefore, whenever bad association comes, we should evaporate the bad association by giving them Krishna consciousness. And in case we are not strong enough to deal with a heavy bad association, then better hand the bad association over to somebody else who can handle it and be pushed off from there. Like, somebody is drowning. I give my hand to help him. He pulls me into the water. We don't want that. Instead, you tie a rope to a tree and throw the rope to the water. And then the fellow is catching the water, you can pull him standing in the bank of the river, correct? That is, what is that tree? It is ISKCON. Bring him to ISKCON, connect him to the other senior devotees. Like that. So in this way, see, when Arjuna asked, in the 6 items of NOI, first 2 verses are very important. They teach us what all. See, 3 things you have to avoid: bad ambience, bad habits, bad people. 3 things you should avoid. Like temple ambience is spiritual ambience. And materialistic ambience, if you go, that ambience influences us also. Like Avalon Ballroom, when Prabhupada went, 2 people took Prabhupada there. One side Kirtan Swami, one side Ranchod Prabhu. Prabhupada walked in the aisles, went to the stage and he sang and he spoke. When he was coming out, he said, "This is no place for a brahmachari," he said. It's fully Maya. And then Ranchod Prabhu observed that many of the people who came out to the hall, they were boarding their cars, flashy cars. They were dressed also in a flashy way. Boys, girls were giggling, laughing and boarding and going. So that atmosphere, that ambience disturbed him. He went to his temple and then he picked up some money and then he went back to Avalon Ballroom and never came again after that, So he got lost by bad association. So because the ambience pollutes. He got infected with ambience, bad ambience. Similarly, bad people one should not associate with, because if we connect with bad people, like for example, Ajamila connected in consciousness with one prostitute in the forest. So looking at her enjoying mentality, both of the Shudrani, he got infected. So bad ambience, bad people, and bad habits. The bad habits are given in the first 2 verses of NOI. Vachavegam, Manasavegam, Krodhavegam, Jivavegam, Udravegam, Pasavegam, Atyahara, Prayasa, Prajalpa, Niyamagraya, Janasanga, Chalon. So the detailed analysis of this is given in a book called as Bhakti Aloka by Bhaktivinoda Thakur. You can read that book. It's a very good book. Exhaustively given. I prepared from that for my speaking on NOI. Very nice it is. So we can learn many good things from that, and in this way we can avoid these 3 things: bad habit, bad people, bad ambience. Just like, whenever we have some illness, we are given 2 things, isn't it? We are given medicine and patya. So medicine is holy name, and patya is 4 rings. Correct now? So therefore Krishna is also saying abhyasa and vairagya. Let us give an example. Say you want to eat mango, you have a mango seed you are sowing. When the plant is growing, giving water to the plant and giving sunlight to the plant, giving some gobar, manure to the plant, all these things are feeding the plant, isn't it? And then putting a fence around the plant, and making sure that the animals don't come and break the fence also. So that is fencing. So what to feed, what to fence, we should know. So what to feed is anukulyasya sankalpa. What to fence, patikulyasya varjana. Correct? So what to pick, what to drop, what to feed, what to fence. So we should know these things. So therefore Mahaprabhu gave this beautiful example of that creeper analogy. Yeah. And also Kaviraj Goswami says that fence, when you talk 2 type of fences. One type of fence is 4 rings. Another type of fence, he says, and the purport Prabhupada says, we should flank ourselves with pure devotees. All around us. You put yourself in the middle and all around you, you have wonderful pure association. In that association we will flourish very nicely. Devotion life. So this particular Sevajana. Then third one is Rakshashati iti Vishwaso Vishwasaha. So I will show you, I have highlighted some things there. See, let me just make it full screen. See here, how many devotees Krishna has saved, you see? see, protection. See, for Uttara's child in the womb, it is protection of body of Parikshit. Yes, Krishna protected the bhakti. For Prahalad also he protected body and bhakti. Draupadi also chastity he protected. And Gajendra, he gave a spiritual body to Gajendra. Not only he saved Gajendra from crocodile, he gave a Vaikuntha body for him. Arjuna, yes, he protected the body of Arjuna in the battlefield. Vajavasis, he protected the body. Pandavas, he body, kingdom, and ultimately took them to Vaikuntha. You see, Jatayu, Prabhupada, Bhaktivinoda Thakur from his enemies who were trying to finish him through Gundas. He was saved. And then Vritrasura. Vritrasura lost his asuric body, but his bhakti was protected. And Dhruva and Ajamila, he was rescued from the Yamadutas, correct? From the Yamapash. Prashadra is one lover of cows, a prince. So he used to protect the cow standing with a sword in the hand. One day in the night when he was standing, a tiger came in, broke into the barn and wanted to eat the cows. So he threw the sword. It was a moonlit night. He thought that before the tiger can touch any cow, I will finish it. So he threw the sword. But tiger just turned its face away. So the hands of the tiger got wounded. And the tiger ran back into the forest. It didn't pick any animal. But the sword hit the tiger and hit the body of a cow, and the cow died. One cow. So next day early morning, when the Brahmanas saw the cow, they cried. They went and reported to Vasishtha ji that alas, alas, one cow has died. Prashadra, in the night he was guarding the cows. But when he threw the sword, one cow died. That's all they said. But they didn't give the full picture. Hearing this, Vasishtha got overwhelmed with anger. He said, foolish Prashadra, how he can kill a cow? I curse him to become a Shudra in the next life. Like that he said. And Prashadra did not argue back. He didn't go to Vasishtha and say, what is this? Without getting a full picture, how can you spell out a curse on me? He didn't ask like that. He just tolerated. And then he thought, now that I am cursed to become a Shudra in the next life, what is my course of action? So he went and joined full-time brahmachari, some ashram, under the Vaishnava Guru. And he practiced pure devotion service and went back home, back to Godhead. So the curse could not take effect because he never became Shudra. He went back to Godhead, Prashadra. So Lord protected his bhakti. Saved from Shudra birth and also taken back to Vaikuntha. Srivas Thakur, his faith was always protected because Lord maintained him. Mrigari, protection of livelihood also. So it's amazing. All this is Rakshasyati Vishwas. See, there are two types of Vishwas. One is Krishna only can protect me. Another one is Krishna will definitely protect me. Like Prahalad Maharaj, what is it? Krishna will definitely protect me. And what Draupadi thought? Krishna only can protect me. Both are Rakshasyati Vishwasa. Nobody, even Uttara said the same thing. Paya paya mahayogin deva deva jagatpate nanyam tadabhayam pashya yatra mrityu parasparam. When the mrityu has come very near, she said, Krishna only can protect. Nobody can do anything. That firm faith the devotees have. And devotees should cultivate that type of faith in the calamities. The meaning of calamity means which comes uninformed, unannounced, for which before the rectification can be taken, it goes out of control. That is called calamity. Like a man is walking on the road, an electric pole is falling. And actually he is seeing it falling, but before he can go ahead, it hits the head and he falls. It has happened sometimes. Calamity means you are seeing it happen, but you have no control over it, and we have no power to change it. If Krishna wants, then he can do miracles. Like Brahmastra has two Brahmastras came. One went towards Pandavas, one went towards Parikshit. And Krishna took the chakra and cancelled the Pandavas, the Brahmastra sent by Ashwatthama to Pandavas. And then he entered the womb of Uttara and took the mace in his hand and rotated and then protected the child. So Krishna can do such amazing miracles. He can do. The protection from calamity is to give opportunity to continue devotional service. See, calamity means which comes unannounced, cannot be stopped by our power, which happens swiftly. before we can even comprehend, you see. In this way, Krishna, who is Bhakta Vatsala Kritagya Samartha Vadanya Nandi, he is like a, he's a great protector of his devotees. So, yeah, I had highlighted some portion, let us see. Okay, this is good enough. This is Akshasthiti, Vishwasa. And then the fourth one is Goptritve Varnam Tatha. Goptritve, I'll show you. See, accepting the Lord as one's sole maintainer. See, Prabhupada gives one analogy in the Bhagavad Gita. A devotee is like a cow, maintained by a farmer. The cow is an innocent creature. She just, whenever the farmer comes and feeds grass, the cow will eat. Other time, the cow will sit down. When the farmer comes to milk the cow, cow will offer milk. Finally, it is a very mild animal, cow, you can see that. The pure devotee is like that. And then Prabhupada says, sometimes even if a farmer comes with a knife to cut the throat of the cow will think he's playing with me. Cow will never think that this fellow actually is going to kill me. How can he kill me? He is my master, like that he feels. That kind of faith pure devotee has in Krishna. Rake Krishna Mare Ke, Mare Krishna Rake Ke. Sometimes Krishna creates a very awkward situation for a devotee. He puts the devotee in a traumatic situation. For example, Parikshit, when the forest, he saw the dead snake put around the neck of Swami Rishi, and then 7 day notice was given to him for death. So, but you can see how Parikshit responded to death. You can see that. Nottama-shloka-vartanam yushatam tat-katam-mritam syat sambramodda-kalepi smaratam tat-padam-bhujam. This verse says, Uttama-shloka-vartanam, those people who are Krishna's pure devotees, he says that they are never afraid of any kind of inevitability that Krishna may send in their lives. So they are ready to face it. Because even at the time of death, their mind and heart are filled with remembrance of the Lord. Syat sambramo antakalepi smaratam tat padam bhajam. They will always remember his lotus feet. Pleasure or pain, prosperity or poverty, no difference it makes for a devotee. For a devotee, Krishna's lotus feet is a home or is a nest. Like for the bird, the nest is the home. For a pure devotee, Krishna's lotus feet is the home. He says in one of the verses, Dhautatma Purusha Krishna Padamulam Namanchati Takta Sarva Parikleshai Pantasva Sharanam Yatha. Bhagavatam says that purified soul, by hearing and chanting, for him, Krishna's lotus feet is like a nest for the bird. He gives an analogy. Pantaha means a traveler. Sharanam, when he goes to his own home. Yatha. Imagine somebody travels all across the globe and then he comes home after 6 months. He takes a shower, takes a lunch and relaxes in an easy chair, talks to wife, children, family. How he feels. Like that a devotee feels when he comes to Krishna's lotus feet. He feels very comfortable returning back to his original nature. So such a devotee knows Krishna is my maintainer. We say, Amitava Nityadasa Janinu Yebara Amara Palanavara Ekhona Tumara. That he says, Amitava Nityadasa, I am your eternal servant, Krishna. Janinu Yebara. Now I understood that I am your eternal servant and my only maintainer is you. One time, we were going in a train. One gentleman asked me, who is taking care of your travel? And who is taking care of your food? And who pays ticket for your train and all that he asked. So my assistant was telling him, Sanstha maintain karta, he was telling him. The institution, ISKCON is the institution, they maintain. I said, no. I said, your food, my food, his food, all food is given by Krishna only. Is it true or not? Your father may go to shop and bring grocery, but the shop grocery came from the fields. And the field grocery has come from Krishna's glands. Sun and moon are Krishna's eyes. When they glance at the nature, sun produces the grains and the moon fills up with juices. So ultimate grocery supplier is Krishna. I said for everybody. I told him, if your son is studying in engineering college, you will send him all the needs, isn't it? So he is working for you, so you take care of him. Krishna, similarly we work for Krishna, then Krishna will maintain us. Krishna is our maintainer, isn't it? So in the Jadabharata pastime, Prabhupada writes one very powerful sentence. He says, the Bharat Maharaj pastime, he says, the money that we earn is not the cost of our maintenance. The source of our income is not the cost of our source of maintenance. Like that he writes. People wonder, really? I am earning salary, is it not maintaining me? No more. Ultimately, Krishna is the maintainer. He says. So I highlighted some portion, you can see. You know the famous verse, no? Ananyas Chintayanto Mam. Yoga Kshemam. Yeah. See, Goputrika Varanam meaning is given here. See, here if you see. Varanam means the root, which means to choose or to accept. Varanam means acceptance, especially in the sense of choosing or accepting a bride or a bridegroom. In wedding ceremonies, one of the key rituals is called Varana or Kanya Varana, where the bride or bride family accepts the groom. So Goptritve Varanam, if you say, that means you accepted Krishna is my pati, he is Sakvatam pati. I am accepting, I am his property now. I have today onwards, I have become Krishna's property. And he owns me. He owns me and he is free to do anything. He can beat me or embrace me, whatever he wants he can do. Yeah. Varna. So, see here the yellow highlighted portion you can see. Read that. Supreme Shelter. Yeah.
The devotee acknowledges that no one else, not family, money, government, or even one's own intelligence can offer to group protection. Only Sri Krishna is the ultimate Bhokta, the eternal guardian.
Yeah. Generally what happens when we are in a family, everybody gets security from family members, especially when you go for marriage parties and all. Oh, this is my uncle, this is my aunt, this is my grandfather, my grandmother, my cousin. So sometimes you see a large number of people known to us. We feel confident that they will take care of me. So we put faith in their maintenance, they maintain us. Or we have a big bank balance, I have 5 crore or 10 crore, and that bank balance will take care of me till the fag end of my life, I have nothing to worry. But you will see in this world sometimes the bank will become bankrupt, and the relatives die and they go away. One by one they pass away. So these things give us false sense of security. There was one Brahman called Kaushik. This Brahman was a simple Brahman, doing his puja and studying of the Shastra, everything very nicely. At one point of time, a king invited him for doing a yajna. The Brahman did very nicely. Pleased with his service, the king practically gave him a huge amount of charity, lands, cows and everything. So the Brahman, after getting these things, he thought that now I have hundreds of cows now. So when he milked the cows, he started selling the milk and started doing a kind of business type of thing. And in the fields also, he started cultivating and selling grains also. He started doing that. And one day, as this Brahmana gradually became richer and richer, so his attention to Shastric study reduced. His attention to taking shelter of the Lord became reduced. So he started thinking that he started becoming almost like a Jamindar. Right now. So he was a Brahman by activity before, but now the Brahminical activity is reduced. One day one sage came to his farm and he saw the cows and asked the Brahman, Brahman, you have some nice cows, can I get some milk to drink? He asked. He said, yes, you can get milk, but you have to pay, he said. Sage was saying, really? How you have become like this? We rishis, we go from place to place doing good for the people. We only live on charity, we don't carry any money with us. Since you have become very materialistic, this is no good for you. If you continue this materialism, you will lose everything. Like that the sage said and went away. Because he displeased the sage, in the following months, the lands dried and the cows died. And everything went to bankrupt. So at that time, he could not turn to Brahminical activities also because their interest was gone. At the same time, he could not do business and make money also because everything fell apart. So he was like a Nagarka, a Gatka, neither here nor there. Because this problem happened with him because of considering somebody else to be maintainer other than Krishna. So there is a very beautiful verse which says, Sadhana malay bhayata labete santosh Teyita achar kare bhakti dharma posh. This verse says, always chant the holy name and always be cheerful with whatever comes of its own accord. No, don't never hanker for anything. If you do these two things, you will be maintained by Bhakti Devi. Teyita achar kare bhakti dharma posh, he says. You will be maintained by Bhakti Devi if one does these two things. And that's what was precisely done by Sudama Brahman. Sudama Brahman was a beautiful devotee, and whatever came of its own accord, he was satisfied. Even though he was, by the stroke of destiny, he was wearing tattered clothes and, skinny body and poverty-stricken. But he never was depressed or morose. He was always cheerfully engaged in devotional service. So, Sudama, he always thought Krishna is my maintainer. If Krishna has not given me wealth, I think he knows very well. If wealth comes, I will misuse it. Therefore, he didn't give me. And if Krishna gives me wealth, I will use it in Krishna's service. That's the mood of a devotee. A devotee never considers anybody else to be maintainer. He is always maintained by Krishna, like a baby, completely depending on the mother, like that.
Never hanker for anything, knowledge and holy.
Yeah, sadhanamalaiva yatha labete santosh. Yeah. Whatever comes of its own accord, yeah. So you see, Draupadi understood Krishna maintained my dignity. Gajendra surrendered to Krishna, Sudama, all these examples are there, correct? Please read this one. Employer versus maintainer.
Employer versus maintainer.
We may think my company provides for me, but what if that company shuts down tomorrow? Krishna may use various means, job, family, friends, but he alone is the source. Think of the sun. Planets may say...
Plants.
Think of the sun. Plants may say, the soil feeds me, but it is the sunlight that activates growth. Likewise, Krishna is the sun behind all material arrangements.
See, a plant may be thinking, I am surviving because of the water, but the water is given by the sun only. Correct, no? Sun only brings rain, water down. See, sun is supporting the plant from the top by warmth and supporting the plant from bottom by the rainwater. So both ways, sun is only maintaining the plant. Similarly, if you see, Krishna directly also through nature maintains you, plus through your parents maintains you, but parents, how they maintain you is through what Krishna has given them. So ultimately, who is maintainer? That is the point. Read this. A child?
A child in the father's arms. The child does not worry about rent, EMI or lunch because they know my father will take care. Similarly, a devotee trusts Krishna as their provider.
Yeah, correct, ma'am? I think this is the reason why children are always excited, correct? They don't have to worry about EMI, or cooking, or rent, or anything like that. They are always, when they grow, then they become morose because all the tensions come. So just as a child is confident in the father, a devotee is confident in Krishna. I read the reflection question.
Questions for self-reflection. Do I trust Krishna to maintain me, or am I overly attached to material arrangements?
Yeah. So, the material arrangements should be done, but one should not be attached. The word attached is used, see here. Although we may do some material arrangements, but if one is overly attached to material arrangements, then one will be in tension. See here is a devotee couple example, right?
Example, a devotee couple in Pune. Background. Husband had a stable IT job and the wife was also working. After getting spiritually inspired, they decided the wife would quit and focus on homeschooling the children with Krishna consciousness. Outcome. Initially it was tough financially, but soon the husband's career unexpectedly advanced. They also started a small side business of spiritual books and prasadam. Key message. Their faithful step towards Krishna-centric living resulted in unexpected divine arrangements.
Correct, no? So this is a very good example of a good family. Like, husband and wife both were working and making money, but when she stopped the job, although there was a little financial crunch, but eventually the family became happy because Krishna consciousness is the one which truly satisfies. Material arrangements keep producing tension. Are you that?
Do I take unnecessary stress thinking I am the sole provider?
Like Bharat Maharaj, correct? No? Yeah. So one should not think I am the sole provider. Krishna is the ultimate provider. Yeah. Read it.
Can I offer my problems to Krishna and try to solve him with a peaceful heart?
Yeah. See, Krishna says, give your problems to me, I will handle them, you peacefully chant. But what we are saying, no, I will take all the problems and Krishna, you be peaceful there. Actually, we don't have to give peace to Krishna. Krishna is always peaceful. He says, you give your problems to me. Therefore it is said, जब तुम भगवान नाम में, भगवान तुम्हारे काम में, जब तुम अपने काम में, भगवान अपने धाम में. Heard this? So, what it says, if you you chant Krishna's names, then Krishna becomes engaged in your work, like Arjuna Acharya. Correct now? He was engaged in Krishna consciousness and Krishna brought the grocery, correct now? On the other hand, if somebody becomes preoccupied with taking too much tension of one's problems and doesn't chant Krishna's names properly, then Krishna is in his abode. Then we will be occupied with our work, that's all. All you get is only hard work. Go ahead, next one.
Am I making career or financial decisions solely based on income, or do I consider how they affect my Krishna consciousness and family's spiritual growth?
Actually, your financial decision, when we make, sometimes people think about, I want to put my child in international school, and we want to go for a bigger house, we want to buy a bigger car. These are all right. But are we also thinking about how is it affecting my Krishna consciousness, family spiritual consciousness? Yeah, and then?
Am I choosing a job or city just because of money, or am I also thinking, will my sadhana thrive there?
And then?
Will this career choice help me and my family become better devotees?
Yes.
What will truly matter at death, income or inner life?
Correct, na? That inner life will matter. So we have given some examples like this. So this is good enough. This is all for maintenance. Okay? Go up to the way, Anandata. And then, no, you can ask now. You can ask over here.
No, so the book that so generally when I ask that, someone may think that if you should just read on whatever comes on its own accord.
What is the meaning of coming of its own accord? Say for example, a boy is working 10 hours a day, 8 to 10 hours job. Morning for Krishna, evening for family, daytime for profession. And he has contentment. He is contented. Whatever money comes in his pocket, that much only he should spend. He should not take loans unnecessarily. Then he will have to see, do you cut the chappal to leg size or you cut leg to chappal size? Which one you cut?
Chappal.
Yeah, chappal to leg size, correct. So whatever fits in your pocket, that much only you should spend. And you will be a happy family. But if somebody says, instead of 10 hours, I work 14 hours or 16 hours, and I have no time for God, no time for family, no time for health, then he may make a lot of money, but there are people who get massive heart attack, there are people who are divorced in the family, no time for family, they get divorced, and no time for health, they get severe health issues, and no time for God, the mind is really, you can see how much people take tension, you have seen that. You tell them to sit and hear Bhagavatam, they won't hear. But after the Bhagavatam is over, 2 hours they will come and talk to you how they are in tension. You seen that? We have Bhagavatam who is giving all the solution, but they don't want to listen to the solution. They only want to declare the problems. But those who hear the Bhagavatam, Krishna will empower them to solve the problems. Right, no?
There is also one concept, the main concept is that in ISKCON, what happens is that people who have money, they are being honored. They do not honor practice Christianity.
Yeah.
And they are given some opportunity, they get some blessing, they get some stuff.
That should be seen how available. See, we go to Balaji temple, If you have money, you have a short route to take darshan. And if you don't have money, you have to go through a long route. So people who go through long route are serving Balaji with their time. And people who have money, they are serving Balaji with their money. So you can serve Lord through time or through money. Either both are serving the Lord. And if you tell the rich people, we will not give you a short route, everybody should come in the long route, they will never come to Balaji temple. Is it good? What do you think? So therefore rich people have a shorter route because they are serving Balaji with their money and that money is used for Lord service. What's wrong with that?
Then, correct. So then you will say that when we get see, it's rare to get somebody's approved attention.
See, I'll ask a simple question. Rich people have a big house and Guru Maharaj goes to their house and stays, for example. And poor person says, because they are rich, they are able to meet Maharaj and take photo. And I am poor, so I cannot meet Maharaj and click photo. I am not allowed. That means he is more after image. He is after image consciousness. He wants to take a photo with Guru. Whereas that insignificant poor devotee service also will be recognized by Guru if he is faithfully serving, correct or not? But many people want to show off, that's a problem. For show off you need money, you need fame, you need reputation. If you want to impress the people of the world, you need all that. But you want to please Krishna, you don't need anything. But Patram Pushpam. Still it is coming. Patram Pushpam Palam Toyam. Kitchen, it's coming from the kitchen. So, many times, amongst all these items I have seen, Goptritva Varanam will always attract the biggest number of questions. In any community, go and give. Because many people think that, we are living in the world, what will people think if you are poor? Like for example, to go from one place to another, you need a simple car. But people think, how can we have a simple car? Our neighbors are having such kind of car. What will the people think? People are more worried about what others think of me than what Krishna thinks of me. If you are only concerned about what Krishna and Guru think of me, you don't need much in this world. But if you are going to worry about what others think of me, you will have to slog in this world like anything. Like you want to wear branded clothes, you have to spend a lot of money. You want to wear simple clothes to cover your body, that is not very costly. Correct, no? Like for example, in our temple we are giving 3 times prasad. Rice, dal, sabji, chapati. But many congregations, they won't take in the temple, they will go to the Govindas. See, if you want to eat in Govindas, you have to spend a lot. You go with the family, 3,000 rupees over. But you take with all devotees, regular prasad you take. It's also good. Rice, dal, sabji, chapati, correct? It's good. You don't have to spend a single penny. Free prasad they get 3 times. So, ultimately you will see that every individual, if they want to live a lavish life, then they can't give adequate time to Krishna consciousness. They will be carried away by the current of the worldly, validations. People, they want validation from the society. That means they are more society conscious than Krishna conscious. That is the problem.
Now, yes, it is true.
On the other hand, I have seen husband and wives completely devoted to Krishna. They just don't care a fig about the world around. And they are not after socializing with people. They will go for book distribution, they will go for preaching, they will come to the temple. Therefore they are called as Krishna Jayanti. There is one famous verse in Bhagavatam. Tavat ragadayastenaha tavat karagriham griham tavat mohongri nigado yavat Krishna nate janaha. This is the verse. He says, tavat ragadayastenaha. Raga means attachments, metal attachments, moha. And for the worldly people, the moha becomes like foot shackles which capture the lion. They are captured by that. And then tavat karagriham griham. For them the karagriham means the home only becomes jail. Karagriham griham. Tavat mohongri nigado. In this way their attachments and the illusions, capture them and keep them in their home. But he says, Yavat Krishna Nante Janaha. Vrajavasis were not like that. Vrajavasis lived a life completely centered around Krishna. They woke up with Krishna, they slept with Krishna, they remembered Krishna in the day. There are ISKCON devotees I have seen also like this. Those who actually completely keep Krishna in the center of their life, they will be most happy people. So let us finish the Atma Nikshepa. Please read this. A highlighted one, only you read that. No, he is already inside. He is inside man.
Complete offering of oneself, including body, mind and soul, to the will of the Supreme Lord without any reservation.
Yes, that's Atma Nikshepa. Yeah.
Realization that Krishna is the ultimate protector, well-wisher and controller of all activities. C. Renounces independent endeavors for material gain and instead fully depends on Krishna's mercy. D. Engaging in his service with unwavering faith.
See, 4 things are said here. First thing is, offer body, mind, soul, without any reservation. Second thing says that, Krishna is my well-wisher and controller of all activities. Atma Nikshep means I have become owned by him. Become owned by Krishna. Just like you work for Microsoft, I am owned by Microsoft. Correct, no? Yeah. Similarly, join army. You are owned by the army. In army area, nobody can go, you know that? Only for those people can live. They have no private life. They are owned by army. Similarly, we should become owned by Krishna. That is Atma Nikshepa. And the third one is, renounces independent endeavors for material gain and instead fully depends on Krishna's mercy. Which means, you can do work, earn some livelihood, it's all right. But don't, make separate endeavors to struggle hard for material gain, dharma, artha. Don't work for that. Depend on Krishna's mercy. That's what Prabhupada writes in the 7th canto, 14th chapter, I think 8th verse, The purport Prabhupada writes, a devotee should work 8 hours a day, Prabhupada writes. 8-9 hours you work, whatever you get is your money, your quota. And engaging in Krishna's service with unswerving faith. Please read this one. Detachment.
Detachment from results.
Yeah.
Surrendered soul.
Yeah.
Surrendered soul acts without fear of material loss, knowing Krishna arranges everything for their ultimate welfare.
Yeah.
For example, Sudama.
Correct.
Brahmana.
So he doesn't fear material loss. Because in this world, you may be a billionaire or you may become beggar. You may be prosperous or you may become poverty stricken. Anytime anything can happen to anybody, but the devotee doesn't fear. He does his work and detaches from the results, whatever Krishna wants to let him do. And then?
Absolute dependence on Krishna. Atmanship means placing complete trust in Krishna, acknowledging that he alone can provide true shelter.
Yeah, and security. Vritrasura was like that, right? Absolute dependence on Krishna. And then? Love.
Love not by force, surrender versus subjugation. Atmanikshep is voluntary and joyful acceptance of Krishna's will.
Actually, Hiranyakashipu wanted to subjugate Prahalad, whereas Prahalad voluntarily surrendered to Vishnu. So, Atma-Nikshepa is voluntary surrender, not a subjugation like what Hiranyakashipu tried to do. Yeah, and then?
Freedom from ego and false identity. Self-surrender removes the false notion of doership and establishes one's true identity as Krishna's servant.
It's called DD, we call it. Go from doership to divine. The devotee has no pride of being a doer. Bali Maharaj surrendered and said, my dear Lord, everything is yours. I am also surrendering to you. Take me also. So he gave up his false identity as a king of the demons and gave up his ego and surrendered to him and conquered the Lord by his surrender. And then Shravanam?
Shravanam nourishes. Self-surrender is strengthened by regular hearing, chanting and remembering Krishna's pastimes.
Yes, like this. And then Sharanagati is tested in difficult times, isn't it? Tested in adversity, like we see in Draupadi, Gajendra. They completely gave everything to Lord, completely. So, Atma-Nikshepa means fully entrusting one's life decisions, well-being to Krishna, realizing that he alone is my ultimate protector and well-wisher. It is not a passive resignation, but an active dependence on Krishna's wisdom. See, what is the difference between the two? Sometimes you find somebody, by stroke of destiny, lost money. And he says, okay, Krishna, I lost money, it's all right. No. A person voluntarily takes his money and gives to Krishna's service. It's an active dependence on Krishna and Krishna's wisdom. Like a child naturally depends on his mother for care and protection. So, in this way, one act like Bali Maharaj, he didn't let the Lord just take away the land. He gave his head, put your lotus feet on my head. So this is actually same as Sarvadharan Parityaja. So devotees who practice Atma-Nikshepa live free from anxiety, completely. The key transformation happens when we shift from I am the doer to Krishna is the doer. I am only instrument in his hands. And that is the Atma-Nikshepa. And true surrender is an act of love and free will, unlike forced submission. That point was said before. Surrender is a joyful offering to one's will to Krishna, whereas subjugation is an unwilling act of submission under force. Hiranyakashipu demanded, I told you this point. Right? No? A surrendered devotee doesn't act out of fear or loss or profit. He simply out of love for Krishna he surrenders. Materialistic people constantly weigh gain and loss, but a surrendered soul remains peaceful, knowing Krishna's plan. That is the nature of it. You know, there was one Nabaga. This Nabaga was son of Nabaga. Actually, he went to Brahmacharya ashram and after long years he returned home. But his brothers had divided the property and gone. So his brothers told, hey, you are too late to come. We have already divided the property. For you, we give the father as your property. And he went to father and said, Father, my brothers told me that my share of my wealth is you. I am so fortunate to be able to serve you. And the father said, hey, your brothers have cheated you. I am an old man, what will you do with me? Nevertheless, he said, I will arrange for something for you. Take this Vedic chant line. Go to the Angirasa Yajna, which is going on, 6-day program. And the 6th day, when the Purnahuti time will come, Brahmanas will not know what to recite. They don't know the Purnahuti mantra. If you give this, they will give you abundant wealth. So he went and gave this thing. So when he went and sat there in the yajna, 5 days he waited patiently. 6th day, in the Purnahuti time, all the Brahmanas were asking each other, hey, you know it. Then he gave this line. They were so grateful to him. Then the Purnahuti happened, yajna was successful. Then the Brahmanas told him, whatever is left in the yajna-shala, that's all for you. There were gold, silver, diamond, many things were there. Fruits and everything. So it was like a big heap of wealth. So he put all of them in a cloth and he bound it. He was about to take and go. At the time Shiva arrived there. Shiva said, he came as a black man, said, hey, stop. Whatever yajna, avashesh remains in anywhere, in any part of the world in yajna, that belongs to Shiva. Do you know that? Nabaga said, sorry, I don't know this. I will check with my father and come. So he went and checked with his father. Father said, yes, correct, that belongs to Shiva, he said. So he went back and told Shiva, my father has confirmed it, you can take it now. And he offered him obeisances. And Shiva was amazed. Shiva said, you never had a heated dialogue with your father. Because the father told you to take the wealth. Now the same father is telling you don't take wealth. He didn't become angry with the father. He was so truthful personality. And also he told Shiva, since my father has told it is yours, you can take it. He didn't fight for that wealth. Shiva said, take all this with you, plus I'll give you transcendental knowledge also. He gave him both material wealth and spiritual wealth. That is the kind of, this is the quality of this personality. He didn't weigh in gain or loss. What did he weigh? I have to follow father's word. I have to live truthful. God is watching. That was his mood. And his son was Ambarish Maharaj. Just think about it. How, that's why you got such a son, correct? No? So such people are sustained through devotion and dharma. Atmaniship is not a one-time event, but a lifelong process of hearing, chanting and remembering Krishna. It's a moment after moment process, Atmaniship. Every moment you have a choice, and that choice is Krishna consciousness. That is called Atmaniship. So without constant spiritual nourishment, the mind falls back into doubts and attachments. If you don't have constant spiritual nourishment. Material attachments and doubts haunt us. So surrendered souls immerse themselves in Krishna's pastimes which strengthen their faith and deepen reliance on Him. In this way, devotion transforms surrender from a theoretical concept into a living, breathing experience. If anyone practices this Atmanikshepa, the knowledge will not be theoretical anymore. It will become a real life experience. The more one serves Krishna with love, the more Krishna reveals His protection and guidance. See, the more child depends on the mother as a tender toddler child, the mother more she feels the need for protecting the child. Suffering exposes whether one's surrender is superficial or deeply rooted, like Draupadi surrender we saw. Surrender is easy when life is smooth, but when there are adversity we should surrender. So like this many... So then I had made a difference between pious man and a devotee of God. See, pious man does good deeds, but devotee acts for Krishna's pleasure. Pious man, does personal values. Devotee does bhakti. Pious man thinks about heavenly elevation, but devotees actually attain spiritual liberation, although they don't aspire for it. They don't aspire for anything. except Krishna praying. Pious man depends on own efforts praying and it depends on Krishna's mercy. So a pious and devotee of God, I made many things. Basically pious people are I-centered. I want this and I'll go to God. And devotee means Krishna-centered, that's the main thing. So this is Atmanikshepa and the last one. Okay, let us go to last one. 5 minutes I'll finish it.
Next question.
Yeah, tell me the question.
So, question is from Sebastian Abdullah. He is asking that to what extent can devotees focus on developing material competencies,
Yeah.
knowing that there is a risk of getting carried away? And that's a
So, you know that there is a risk of getting carried away, so we have to keep a kind of alert watch on that. Like, upskilling is required nowadays, without which you can't survive nowadays. You are working in a company, there is a constant, you have to constantly keep abreast of the changing technology, how fastly things are changing. So, yes, there has to be time given for that. There is a Metro Sridharan, what he says? He works like 9 to 5. He says, nobody should call me when I am at home. That is his policy. Home time is for home. Office time is for office. Everything we should finish in the office. So as a part of your office time, when people go for drinking chai, you can do upskilling yourself at that time. People waste so much time in the company, correct or not? So one should learn to utilize the time effectively and do the needful for growing in one's profession. That is also a part of like Arjuna went to heavenly planets to get celestial weapons. He went to Shiva and got Pashupatastra. He got, Agnidev gave him the golden chariot and Indra gave the horses, which means he was also upskilling, equipping himself before the war. Correct? He should do that. But that didn't diminish his devotion. So one has to keep track of one's devotion. The last point, Karpanya, the principle of humility. Somebody can read this, Karpanya.
Karpanya or Dainyata is the feeling of humility, helplessness, and surrender before the Supreme Lord, acknowledging one's dependence on His mercy. It is an essential principle of Sharanagati surrender, and it's distinct from the false humility or inferiority.
A devotee says, no? Ekaki amar nahi paya bala harinama sankirtane. Tumi kripa kori shraddha bindu deya deha Krishna nama dhane. He says that alone I am not able to chant the holy name, my dear spiritual master. Please give me a drop of your mercy, and by which I will get the strength to chant the holy name. Similarly, Sakale Saman Korite Shakati Deho Nataya Tayata. Please, I don't want physical strength, I don't want intellectual strength, I don't want the strength of scholarship or anything. I want the strength to respect the Vaishnavas. Sakale Saman Korite Shakati. And by that strength, if I respect and worship and adore all the Vaishnavas, then I will get the ability to chant the holy name joyfully. Tabeto Gaivo Harinama Sukhe, he says. Similarly, what is the other verse? Krishna se tomar, Krishna dite paro tomara shakati yache. That song also says, you possess Krishna, oh my dear Guru, and I am running behind you, crying, please give me Krishna, please engage me in Krishna service. And you are great, I am small, and you are pure, I am impure. And you own Krishna and I am bereft of Krishna. That is the mood in which one should approach Guru and Vaishnavas. And this is Karpanya. There are many songs like that. So in this way, like Arjuna also said, Karpanya doshapata svabhava. So Karpanya has a double meaning. One is humility. The other meaning is, the negative meaning of Karpanya is a kind of miserly weakness. So this Karpanya, what is being spoken in this verse is actually true humility. Like Sanatana Goswami said, Keya me kene amai, Yare Tapatra, that famous verse. He said, Nicha jati, nicha sangi patita adama, he said. I am born in my associations are all abominable. Like Nawaz and Shah and everything. And my activities are all, I am caught up in the worldly politics. Actually, he was a great soul, Sanatan. He himself was writing commentary to Bhagavatam, the Brihatoshini. He had a garden where he had Gupta Vrindavan and everything. But out of his true humility, he spoke like that. So in this way, I think I've given a table, I think, let us say, difference. And you can read this. One of you read this side, one of you read that side. Difference between, difference between the humility and
Humility based on spiritual realization.
I read the other side.
Inferiority complex based on material self-perception.
Humility strengthens devotion to Krishna.
Inferiority complex leads to depression and lack of faith.
Humility seeks Krishna's shelter.
Inferiority complex seeks approval from the world.
Humility brings inner peace.
Inferiority complex causes anxiety and self-doubt.
Humility inspires selfless service.
Inferiority complex results in passivity and inaction.
Humility recognizes Krishna as the truth.
Inferiority complex feels powerless without external validation.
Humility frees one from false ego.
Inferiority complex reinforces negative self-identity.
Humility leads to Krishna's mercy.
Inferiority complex leads to frustration and discontent.
You see the difference, clear-cut difference between the two. So I want to bring out a pocket book with these 6 items. Krishna willing, if devotees give me a blessing, I will be able to do someday. With all the activity sheets also I want to make for this. So I have completed this. So I have given the life of a student, life of an office worker, life of a housewife, how to practice this. I have given all these things. So I will make it soon. So we completed all the 6 now. So Shadavida, Sharanagati, Shri Prabhupada ki,
Jai.
Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki. So I have to leave at 9:30, was telling, I think, correct, no? So I have to leave at, is it true? You have to.
It's not needed. Not even 10.
Sudarshan Prabhu said roads are ICM.
We'll get the
I have 10:10 to 10:30, I have another talk, I can finish and then I can leave.
Yeah, I can.
Yeah. So it was interesting, Prabhu.
No. Can you share those that
Notes. I can share all the notes, yeah. Sure. Yes. Actually, this notes is, I see what I showed you is only 30%. There is a lot is there, but I was thinking of taking out what I showed you, put together in the form of a pocket book with activities. But that will take a while, but I'll send you this. I'll send you can see it. Yeah. Interesting, no?
Prabhu, when we talk about Gotritya Varnam Tatha, I think it was, that we should completely depend on Krishna, whatever Krishna wills, that is best for me.
Yes.
And not so much.
Goptas is maintenance.
Sorry, I think it was one before that.
Anukul is a sankalpa, particular is a bhajanam, rakshasyati vishwasam.
Rakshashati,
Correct?
actually, yes.
Yeah.
Prabhuji, but sometimes there are some things in life in which we feel that we have to make the decision.
Correct.
Regarding like marriage or regarding some things related to that. And we feel that because we have to make the decision.
Actually, what is the meaning of depending on superiors for decision? I will tell you. You have to make the decision also. But let me give you an example. Say you are getting a job which is in a remote part of America, where say you may get $500 more, or $1,000 more. So here you are getting a job, monthly it pays you $7,000. Another place you are getting a job, you are getting $8,000. Most boys will choose which one? 8,000. They will say any proper books are there, we can read. They will say, okay, books are there, but books alone, with books alone you cannot be serious and fired up. Whereas being in Boston, coming to temple, being with devotees whom you already know, correct, no? So if you go to your senior, he will tell you, Prabhu, $500, $1,000, some difference may be there. But you are going to get very good association here, you get seva here. And if you get married and settled, your wife also needs association. If you go to a remote place like a jungle, where no one is there, even though you are getting $1,000 more, your life will be near us. There will be no juice in your life, correct, no? So if you are spiritually minded, then you accept the suggestion of a senior. That is dependence. Similarly, marriage. For example, your mother is showing 4 or 5 photos of girls. Most of the boys will choose a girl who is fair looking and good looking. Correct? No? But if later on you come to know that the girl is good looking but not of good swabhav, she is like Suruchi, more like Suruchi. not like Suniti. Sometimes the boy becomes attached. No, this is the best one. I want this. Then after marriage, he is yelling at him. And he says, my mother told already, I should not have gone for this. Now it's too late that time. So then hearing the elders means, it has happened in devotees also. Sometimes devotees are attached to marrying somebody, but that person is not of good nature. On the other hand, there is somebody of very good nature, but not so good looking. She is Gunavati, but not Rupavati. But high quality. She is like a diamond woman, we say, no? It is called Sri Ratnam. Sri Ratnam Dushkuladapi, Chanakya says. There are women who may not superficially look great, but the qualities are like diamond. So an intelligent man will think that, this is more important for a sustainable family life. On the other hand, Rupavati, she will look very good looking, but she yells, she shouts, she is unclean, she is greedy, she is always quarrelsome with others. So then he marries her, then he suffers lifelong. Correct? So now if somebody tells a person that, if you go for this, you will have to suffer, go for this. Parents say sometimes. Some boys agree, some don't agree. Correct? No? So depending on the seniors means, respecting their ability to make decisions. So then we consult and then we decide. We don't become, like Duryodhana was adamantly attached to becoming king. He didn't listen to Vidura, he didn't listen to Bhishma. Finally all 100 brothers got destroyed. On the other hand, Bhima is very aggressive. But when Yudhishthira Maharaj says something, whether he likes it or not, he will accept. Correct, no? That's what as sadhakas, we can take examples of Bhima, Arjuna and people like that. They aligned with their elder brother, knowing that he is aligned with Krishna. It makes clear? Anantara Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Srila Prabhupada ki. Thank you, all sat through a long time. You can ask, yeah. It's fine, surely. Oh yes, surely. Before we leave, only Mataji 10:10 I have another lecture, 10:10 to 10:30, and then I think 10:30 we have to leave, I think. But before that we can meet Prabhu. Can we meet Prabhu? No? Okay, yeah. Thank you. I wanted to finish all the 6 we could complete it today. Thank you for sitting through. Hare Krishna. Hey Govinda. The Sharanagati will very much help us in our japa also. And when I studied all this, it had a big impact in my chanting. Because this makes us very grounded. Come to ground level, all our imaginations, hallucinations will be thrown away. If the more now you all are hearing once now, when you read the notes and contemplate with all the examples and everything, it will be immensely helpful. That's the reason I want to make a book, because our communities, devotee communities, can conduct it like a workshop. You can do this. Very, very beautiful backdrop also for Gopi Vallabha.